Hi, I'm Dr. Daniel Feldman, and this is Bar-Ilan 194, Introduction to Poetry. In this course, we will cover the fundamentals of the analysis of English poetry, from the origins of poetry and English itself, up to the verse of the current day. We're about to embark on an extended journey into the art of English language, the rubrics and elements that make up poetry in English, and a discourse of how to analyze, discuss, and write about this artful form of English language. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. Let's see what it will entail. This is our course syllabus, kind of contract between the instructor and you, the student. First thing I want you to know is that I'm available to you at all times. You can email me. I'm available also via chat. And if you want to have a more personal conversation, just ask for it. I'd be happy to meet you on Zoom. Our course takes in several different objectives. We're going to learn about key poetic concepts and terms. We're going to get a grasp of some of the major writers and thinkers in poetry. But beyond learning a body of information, we're going to learn about how to think poetically, which is to say, how to read between the lines, how to take in the sounds, the images, and the metaphors of poetry. We're going to follow 3 different units in our semester. One, in which we'll discuss what poetry entails. Second, where we learn the key elements, the building blocks of poetry. And third, in which we will apply these ideas toward the end of the semester, where we will have some exams and a final essay. Our course is made up of participation, which is 20% of your grade. We'll go over what good participation means in the next slide. An essay, which is due near the end of the course, and a midterm exam as well as a final. Grading. Although course participation is only 20% of your term grade, because we will not be meeting in person, your effort and engagement online will form a major component of my impression of you and my assessment of how you are faring in the course. Someone who completes all work in a professional manner and whose very involvement in the course advances and raises the standard of our course itself, is someone who will earn the excellent grades reserved for those in the 90s. Someone who is clearly following along well and understands what is happening will be in the 70s or 80s. That is the majority of you. And someone who doesn't show much sign of life, but is still attending and participating, meaning is still there, will be in the 60s and passing, whereas someone who is barely a member of the course will earn a failing grade. I'd like you to go over these rubrics to understand what I expect of the best students, and I hope you are among them, in this course, both in terms of course participation and overall performance. This entire syllabus is posted online and is available to you throughout the semester. Finally, a word about academic honesty. Our department takes plagiarism very seriously, and here I've posted our departmental or our program policy on plagiarism. Plagiarism is theft. I don't expect any of you are thieves, and I wouldn't expect you to plagiarize. All violations, yes, all violations are dealt with by our Academic Honesty Board. That's all I wish to say about it now, but perhaps I'll augment this later in the semester. In the end, this is a course in which we are all going to work hard. We'll all try to become better readers of each other, of poetry, and of the world around us. Finally, while this is a college course with grades and coursework, let's never lose sight of why we are doing this. For the pleasure, for the love of the written word, for our joy in the written poetic language, as a child indulges and exults in life, in the vitality of play, we play with words, we play with that most marvelous invention, human speech. The next poem that we will read, our first of the semester, Introduction to Poetry by Billy Collins, urges readers to enter into the poem with their very being, with the full fiber of their experience, to taste, to touch, to put their body against the poem, as a child plays with their own world. Collins writes in this poem, Introduction to Poetry, that the reader ought not to be in search only of meaning, but rather to feel the poetic world as a world of play, a world of joy, a world of pleasure. And so we'll end this introduction with this cute video of my son, not only because it's adorable, but also because it is a message of that child that is within, that child that can be awakened with the poetic word, with our voice, when touched by the voice of the poet.